Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Dice Commando, and hey, happy release day. So High Stakes has been out or been completely released for about 14 hours or so as of when this video will go live. Had some time to look it over, and in keeping with tradition, today we are talking new decks for the early meta. Hey guys, so thanks for tuning in. I know there's a lot going on because we're about 24 hours away-ish, a little more than that, from the start of the big release weekend tournament. Make sure if you are interested in doing that you head over, and I'll put a link in the description so it's nice and easy for everybody to find it. But yeah, go if you've got the time, go play. So it was kind of nice. They dropped it it was about 2 p.m.-ish my time when the set was released, so I've had some time to look it over. Which helps, kind of this conversation a little bit in terms of the decks. But like I said, I wanted to kind of keep with tradition. That's what we usually try to do on release day. Is I go over kind of some new decks for the early meta, some that I think are going to be, not necessarily heavy hitters in the long run, but stuff that I think is going to be popular early. But I also wanted to, like I said, since we have had the cards, there was a couple standout cards I actually wanted to just cover real quick that I think. May have some impact, and you guys know me. A lot of the cards I pick in this type of manner aren't necessarily like the big stuff. It's kind of the little stuff. So this one is Overwhelming Forces. So this is a villain red event, 3 cost, but play only if you have more ready characters than an opponent. Deal 2 damage to each of an opponent's ready characters. That's pretty good, right? Obviously you want to do it when they have more out there. But you could as long as you have 3, end an early round with a resource, you get your 2, you get Overwhelming Forces, and you just throw 4 damage across the table. I'm thinking this looks real good with like a Pyre Relentless Claim type, just attrition deck. I think this card's got its place. There is that card that's kind of similar, right? Which I think is like a 3 indirect and it costs 3, but you get money back if you have a leader. I'll hash it out and put it up. I forget the name right now, but it's very similar to that. Though I think this one's just a lot more straightforward and potentially hit for a lot more. All right, next is Smash. So I'm actually just going in numerical order. That's just how I have the cards labeled. That's why the slides are going in numerical order, not necessarily order of importance. But this is Smash. So this is a villain 1-drop event. Resolve one of your dice showing damage. Then remove up to a number of dice equal to half that dice value rounded up. So this has basically everything you want on it in terms of how it's written. Then remove up to a number, right? So if for whatever reason, like let's say you resolve a 3 side, it would be you could resolve 2 dice. If it didn't say up to, you'd have to remove 2 dice. But it does, so you don't. Right, I'm just saying in the case that maybe you'd be forced to remove your own die or something like that, but you're not. So this card's crazy good. There's some restriction on it that you have to have stuff out, but like you can resolve a die and potentially remove 2 dice. Cad Bane's on here, and like that's where my head went first. But there's other guys with big dice, right? So IG88, other stuff out there, right? So this card's pretty cool. This card is going to see a ton of play. Armory. This is a 0-drop hero red support. Action, discard the support to play a weapon, decreasing its cost by 1. If that weapon was played on a red character, draw a card. So it's basically a hero forbidden lore for weapons. This card's going to get a lot of play, like a ton of play. So And rightfully so. I mean, if Forbidden Lore is going to continue to, drive blue villain to be where it is, then hey, let's drive red hero to where it needs to be. Like, when's the last time you heard that? Whistling Birds, this one's not a surprise. It's been out for a long time. This card is really good, right? So keep your eyes on this one. Interplay with one resource on it. Before we resolve it, remove one resource to smack everybody, right? It's any number of characters, right? So, again, we've sliced and diced that one. But, yeah. All right, this card's probably my favorite card in the set. This is the Westar 35 Blaster Pistol. This is, by the way, parallel die with Rex's Blaster Pistol. Two base, modified two indirect, shield, resource, and a blank. Has redeploy. After you activate attached character, if you control the battlefield, you may deal 1 damage to your character. Whoa, dude. This card's really good, man. This card's really good. Man, and Infinite, you can actually do this with Rex and claim the battlefield or take the battlefield. And no, but I mean, so I'm looking at this primarily right now. Mostly today, you're going to see this mostly in the hero red builds, like with Cara Dune. Well, not just with Cara, but you're going to see it in the hero builds mostly because that's actually more of what I have today. But like this with Pyre, right? Or like a wide Pyre, or like we were talking about that earlier with I forget the name already, but the first card we showed, the one with the big walkers on it. This card's pretty good, dude. All right, and then the last one, I really like this battlefield. I'm just not, it's actually not any of the builds that I have today because I'm not sure how to fully use it yet. So it's create Dragon Lair on Tatooine, claim, deal 2 indirect to opponent unless they spend a resource. It's not give you a resource, it is spend a resource. When I first saw this, and I still think it's true, I think Benthic actually really likes this battlefield, right? Because then your opponent has to make a really interesting choice. Do they let you claim? I mean, in most cases, they're going to try, what I'm saying is a lot of the times with Benthic, they'll just pass because they won't want to claim and take the 2 damage off of him, right? But in this case, now they're like, okay, well, if I don't claim and take the 2 damage, then he deals another 2 damage to me anyway. It's not targeted, but I mean, and then yes, they could just pay it off too, right? So that's the option too. But I think this is a very interesting battlefield for Benthic to use. Because if they don't claim, then you smack them for 2 indirect, which isn't the same value as his direct, granted. But anyway, I think it's very interesting. We'll see where it fits. Like, I don't know, Kylo might like this too, or Anakin, or somebody like that too, right? So just kind of like a pure, straight up aggro, beat you down build. So very, very, very interesting. Very interesting there. All right, so let's go right into the decks. I'm going to start with the deck that I think is probably, well, the decks that I'm showing right now. You will notice that there are 3 characters in there and they don't actually work, right? I'll put all the viable characters in, but I'm talking the Inquisitorius. I think these decks are going to be, I think Inquisitors are like really, really, really good. I think they're going to be for a while. They have the majority of the Sith tricks that we were seeing, like with Vader and stuff, right? So yeah, what I'm showing here, I'm showing, it'll be one of 2 builds, I think. You're going to have a Grand Inquisitor, Second Sister, Inquisitorius build, or you'll have a Grand Inquisitor, Ninth Sister build. Probably the one that has more legs to it is probably the Second Sister build, but the Ninth Sister build is pretty brutal, right? Because she has the +3 side, and Grand Inquisitor has the 3 side. So with Dark Reflections, right, you could get a first round 9 in. And that's assuming that you lose a die somewhere. So, I mean, you could, like I say, we're swinging for the fences. You can get more than that. I'm just like being realistic. You can probably slide 9 in first round, like pretty conservatively, right? So now you hurt your ramp there, but still 9 is a lot. So, I really think, but that's just that one build. Like I said, the Second Sister build, there's going to be a lot more of the blank manipulation, trying to kind of get the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber out and then start doing stupid things there. So there's, like I said, there's 2 real builds here. Remember, the Grand Inquisitor's a leader, so he works with Salt Flats, although most of the time you're probably using it to blank anyway. But I don't know. This deck's certainly going to be around, right? This deck that I'm showing right now is not actually complete. I didn't put it all full of cards just because of like where I was for time constraints and not thinking about it, right? But going down some of the key cards, right? You could play Neiman here for the specials, right? Because they're still blue. You have all sorts of redeploys. You have the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber, which I think you play 2 of because it's just that good. Interrogation chair is also unique, but it's also really, really good. So I put 2 in there. Like I said, we'll have to test this out and see where it goes. But I really don't see any world in which the Inquisitors aren't a significant part of this entire meta. I feel pretty confident saying that. All right, next is I wanted to talk about Kara. I'm very, very excited about Kara. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. So I've got 2 builds with her here. The first here, now this is a full deck. It's not completely tuned, but I think it's pretty decent, at least as a starting point, I mean. So this is Kara and Benthic. Basically, this is a weapons upgrade. You will notice that I'm not playing Krayt Dragon with Benthic here. I just haven't. I have to see it in practice before we go, right? So I'll just run Cyber Center with Benthic, which is always my go-to with him. That's just why we did that. So we're just running a bunch of good weapons here. They're just both, this is just good stuff Destiny, right? I mean, it's basically kind of like why Dak Benthic worked so well, is it was just like good stuff, synergistic Destiny. That's kind of what we're seeing here. It's not as effective as Dak Benthic was because you didn't have the pilot synergy and all the crazy healing and stuff. But this deck's just good stuff, right? It's just good stuff, red, yellow. You can throw some instigates in there for some action cheats one at the end when one guy's fully loaded. Cara Dune's blaster, the Cara Dune and the Westars are all redeploys. Everything in here is a 2-drop or less. You're not searching for money. You've got merchant. You can still do the pilot thing. There's a lot of really good things happening in this particular pairing. Another good pairing that I think is going to be pretty good is the Cara Leia, right? The Cara Apprentice Leia build. This one I don't have completely built out. This one's a little harder to do because, again, you really, armory helps for sure. But then again, a lot of the good melee stuff is blue. So you really struggle, I think. It's going to take some iterations, I think, to find the sweet spot here on cost curve and includes. But, again, you can Dark Reflections on this, and just everybody's got damage, and you're taking shields. And, Leia's value's through the roof. Cara Dune is crazy good. Again, it's just kind of like good stuff, blue-red Destiny, right? Although you don't quite have some of the same tricks, but you have a lot more of the staying power. So, all right, next deck, I am very excited to try this one out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of this one this weekend. And this is dual die Din Mando, so Elite Mando, right? Because we're going to I think that's the nomenclature we're going to use, right? Is double elite, dual elite. So elite is 2 die, dual elite 3 die. So anyway, this is 18-point Den with Wedge. So it comes out to even 30 there. There's just a lot of really cool stuff happening here in terms of supporting Den. Remember, you can put Black Market Arm on him, and he gets up to 16, and then Feat of Strength is on. I only have 1 Black Market in there. I could very well do 2, but I've got Vibrasword in there, which Vibrasword's really good, and then it deploys over to Wedge and still hits for a bunch. I realize Wedge is a bunch of guns, but that's kind of the point. Wedge is a bunch of guns. Mando's got guns. You can play the birds. You can play the Westars. Again, it's just there's probably a theme here, right? But it's just like good stuff Destiny. And Hero, I think, is going to be in a real strong spot, at least early meta. Not that there's not good villain decks. There certainly are. It's just I think a lot of the cool new toys or Hero, right? At least that's where my head is, right? Aside from the Inquisitors that look real good. So I don't know if there's much more to say here, right? You're running Armory again, right? You'll see, a lot of this stuff, the good cards get played, right? And it's not necessarily good cards get played. They do. Well, good cards get played. Huge statement there, right? But my point is the utility cards get played across decks, and that's what you're seeing with Armory. That's what you're seeing with the Westar. It's not like the Westar, the Westar, when you go in and it deals damage if you have the battlefield. If you don't have the battlefield, there's no penalty to it, right? So it's just like a bonus. So, it beats the crap out of the A300. So, it actually doesn't in terms of that indirect side, but I play that over the A300. I am playing it over the A300. All right, this one is a real spicy build that I'm pretty scared about this one this weekend, actually. This is Dash Wedge. Pilot, Dash Wedge. They're both pilots, but this one is basically bringing. You sacrifice a bit. You sacrifice not a significant amount, but there are some sacrifices you make here to bring red to the table versus running Han, is what I mean. But I think some of those are bonuses, like because you get red vehicles, and Wedge's X-Wing, like pretty good, and Rogue 2 is pretty good, and you get some healing, and you get some, I think this one, I mean, again, it's a lot of the same tricks. Like a controlled chaos play into Wedge is pretty good, right? Because Wedge is pretty much going to be able to guarantee you base sides, and the ambush controlled chaos play is pretty crazy with Dash. So I think you're definitely going to see this one. I'm running Cloud City here. I think that's pretty obvious why. I don't necessarily know that you care if they deal. Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to lose like an Outrider or something, but like for the others, I don't know that you care that much about it going away. Like merchants, that's probably the biggest impact you have, right? Again, I'm not saying you want to get your stuff DM'd, but... And then you see, again, this is kind of just like good stuff, because like the Westar 35s, you throw them down, they're there forever until you lose. Han Solo's blaster is a great one from an ambush standpoint. Obviously, you don't have Han here, but it's still really good and gets you that removal. And then you've just got a bunch of events. Might be a little too heavy in events on this current build, but again, these are all early builds, really just kind of concept for looking at the characters and their strength. In fact, I probably do need to figure out a little, there's no probably about it. I need to cut the events a little bit and either go a little higher on upgrades, maybe not on upgrade, maybe D817s or something. What's the DL18 or whatever. So that's an option. DL18 on Wedge. Oh my God, that's good. Yeah, maybe that's the one to do. But anyway, a lot of cool stuff here, because you're being flanked by Wingman and a sail, and yeah, a lot of really cool events to use. So this one for sure as well. All right, so this deck is RDM Maul Sauvage. I think RDM Maul Sauvage is still really strong. This particular deck hasn't been tweaked. This is this is the deck that I was playing in Redemption meta. I'm just throwing it up here. I haven't even tweaked it yet. But, the in terms of the cards, but the point is like Maul Sauvage, I think, still really, really, really good. It basically is going to... I think this one's going to fill the space left by Vader when he goes to 20. By the way, don't count Vader out either. I haven't figured out anything yet there with him, but like I think Vader's still pretty good. But I think this deck's going to kind of step up and fill that spot. Now, a lot of the people who will be, just because of what appeals to people, I think a lot of the people who would be playing this deck are probably going to be on Inquisitors for a bit, just because it's new. But I really think that this deck's still pretty good. Still definitely out there. And then the last deck I want to talk about today, this is one of those that I put up. It is not refined at all, because this one's going to take some serious churn and burn, I think, to make it work. But the John Wick Red Jar Kai, which is Qui-Gon and C-3PO, because remember, you get R2 playing to him to start doing things. And you just play a bunch of low-cost weapons, and it's the red no blank star Kai package. I mean, that's pretty much it there, right? So I don't know much more to say about this. I think there's going to be a lot of people. I think Qui-Gon. I think Qui-Gon's the best vehicle to try and do the Red Jar Kai thing with. You could do it with Leia and Cara. The problem is, like, I think if they know what you're doing, they're going to go after Leia, and they might be going after Leia anyway. So if you put too much effort into like small weapons, that's actually not what Cara wants in game. So I don't know that it works as well. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't know if it works as well in a Cara Leia as it would in like a big Qui-Gon. So yeah, we'll see. And then like I don't even have the I forget the name of the card, but I don't even have the 0 drop in here that lets you reroll somebody's guy die back in if it gets removed, right? Which absolutely needs to be in this, in the big die builds. That would need to be in there. So, again, there's a lot of tuning, but the concept is here. I really do think we're going to see, maybe not a lot, but I think we're going to see some subset of these decks flying around to begin with. Because, again, the Red Jar Kai thing seems really, really, really good. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what we see. All right, so that's it for today. That's the end of the deck. So again, we've got a whole fun weekend, a whole fun Friday night. I did want to address something. The questions have been asked if we're going to do a live stream going through all the cards, which we've done for the last 2 sets. I'm not planning on doing that. I just kind of just don't. It's not that I'm not excited about the set. Like, I'm super excited about the set. I just don't. It's like a 4-hour thing, and it's effort to coordinate that I wasn't really organized enough to get people to do it. So apologies if you were looking forward to that, but at the current plan, I'm just not planning on to do it. But we can all find better things to do with our Friday nights anyway. So we've got an awesome weekend ahead of us. Again, if you can make it out to the tournament, I'm really going to try. I'm going to see how things work on Saturday. I didn't really plan ahead enough, because the tournament was only announced like 10 days ago or something like that, and it didn't really register. Like, I should have known 2 months ago when they announced the release date that it was going to be on Saturday. So I got to move some things around, but I'll try to be there. But I highly encourage you to go check it out and play as many rounds you can and just participate and be part of the party. So thanks again to Aaron and his team and all the guys over at ARH, especially, Lanza. I know you're going to be working hard this weekend doing the tournament. Gandork, Gandork, you're probably going to be running the tournament and fielding all sorts of crazy questions. I know you've already been doing that. So thank you in advance for all that as well. And Dark Angel, I'm sure you'll be involved as well with all of the crazy OP stuff going on. So anyway, that should do it for today. Have a lot of fun this weekend, folks, and go Commando.